Hey everyone, welcome to the Arthi Indieheads podcast. I'm your host.
Oh, oops.
Welcome to the Arthi Indieheads podcast. I'm your host, Matty, aka Recon G. On this week's podcast, we have
Mima Trap, aka Jeremiah.
And I'm Arthi, or Clockwork_watermelon.
I just burped, but it was like a little tiny burp that didn't make any noise. I failed you, Jeremiah. Again, we weren't recording, but Jeremiah was singing LCD Sound System, and right after he got done singing a line, I burped.
And it was in the perfect rhythm.
And it wasn't recording, and I really regret that.
It's like we can just recreate it though. Just say burp when you burped. All right. But you undermine me.
Burp.
And I start to be sensible.
Okay, anyways, let's get on to what we've been listening to this
week.
week.
What are we talking about today?
Okay, so I listened to a couple albums this week. First and foremost, Beach Boys, Smile. I talked about this a few weeks ago, but I've been listening to this and Pet Sounds for the past month, and I'm just in love with both these albums, especially Smile, because for an album that is essentially unfinished, it sounds pretty fucking polished and finished and complete. And I think that most surprised me about Smile is that the thing that's most sad is that Brian Wilson, not only was his mental health just crazy because of drugs and pressure and all this stuff, but he could have done this album solo and he would have been fine. He did do it solo a couple years down the line, 40 years later? So a little under 40 years later. But Beach Boy Smell, God, it's so I just want to be in an alternative universe where this album came out when it was supposed to in 1967. I just want to see how would this influence music in 1967? How would the landscape of music change because of this album? Because I feel it'd be a major landscape change when it came to music. I mean, this album and Sgt. Pepper's, coming out in the same year, this would have, caused a music revolution.
Oh yeah.
So it's just when people talk about I want to be in an alternative universe where this happens, it's I want to be in an alternative universe where this album came out when it was supposed to. So yeah, Smile, it's a great album. The production is just fantastic all the way through. Better, would you guys say it's better produced than Pet Sounds?
I don't know.
I feel in certain ways this is better produced. I think in terms of variation in the instrumentation and more sort of experimentation in abstractness, I think Smile's better, but Pet Sounds is more complete and finished because it is complete and finished. So, but Smile, I guess the potential of Smile's production is a lot better than Pet Sounds in certain ways. And honestly, in the songwriting on Smile, in certain songs, it's just kind of weird concepts and kind of odd lyrics, while Pet Sounds is a lot more relatable with the lyrics. But Smile is a bit more complex. A song like Surf's Up, that was written in 1967, or I think it'd be 1966. Still, that's just a song like Surf's Up couldn't that. It's unbelievable that was written in 1966 because it does not sound like it.
Yeah. What I do know about Smile is that it did win the Best Historical Album at the 55th Grammy Awards. So that was 2 years ago.
Nice.
Just thought I'd share that.
Congratulations to the Beach Boys.
Woo! Best Historical Album. That's a rare one, honestly. Let's see what else won Best Historical Album.
Okay, I'll look it up right now.
The Garden Spot Programs, 1951 last year.
All right.
Oh, there's actually some. Martin Scorsese Presents the Blues. Interesting. Okay. Right.
Okay. Let's get into the next one. Sorry for the little pause while we're looking at Grammy Awards. Okay. Future DS2 or Dirty Sprite 2. Pleasantly surprised with this album. I actually kind of dig it. It's nothing super. Okay, when you read that goddamn Pitchfork review for Dirty Sprite 2, you're just oh my fucking god, you're rolling your eyes the entire time. like you don't even know how you're reading the reviews with how many times you roll your eyes at Megan Garvey's writing because she's when she's not like roasting Tyga, she's a terrible writer.
I love Megan Garvey because she pisses you off so much.
She does no, it's not really her opinions. It's just that she adds a lot of pretension and depth to records that
That's true, she
really
does.
do not have depth.
Pretension and depth, yeah.
Like Dirty Sprite 2 does not have that much depth. Like you
The
can't
Young
really
Thug thing.
what.
You heard the Young Thug review was a bit.
Oh god, that's
Over the
way
top.
the Young Thug review is way worse than the DS2 because at least I like Dirty Sprite 2, and at least there is some sort of like you can actually like look at this album, like you can analyze this album a little bit. But Barter 6 was just sort of like a hodgepodge. It was a mess of an album. It was just
I
like
like how you guys know the names of Pitchfork reviewers.
we do because some of them are just like
It's like-
infamous for like being
Think of that for a second. The only one I know is the one who wrote the Kid A review, and his Twitter bio is, I wrote that Kid A thing.
That review is actually like so. Everybody makes fun of that line. The like, listening to Kid A is like watching a stillborn baby, like playing in the afterlife on IMAX, and like people make fun of that line, but it's so true because that's like really. Although it's like in the afterlife while they're like. It's like an apocalypse in real life. So you're watching like this IMAX during the apocalypse of this stillborn baby playing in the afterlife.
Yeah, but also, like, what does that even mean?
It means
What is
exactly
he
what you
even
think it
talking
means.
Okay, anyways,
I'm
back
sorry.
to Dirty Sprite 2. Just, the production is really nice. Sometimes it gets kind of bad, like, on songs. Hold on, let me look up the song name real quick, because I know it. Songs like Colossal are just really badly produced, because it has, really bad piano tones, and I think the biggest problem with trap music, well, one of the biggest problems with trap music is usually pianos, because, like, most trap producers just cannot get pianos right. They just do not sound good. Because it's not like real. Usually, it's not real pianos. It's usually just like computer program pianos, and it just doesn't sound good. It doesn't fit, and usually just comes off sounding really cheap and corny. But there's some great great songs. Future really holds his own. Like most of this album is just Future. There's only one feature on the album, and it's Drake. So for most of the album, Future is able to carry the album by himself, which is very, very impressive. And there's not many rappers who can do that, like carry most of an album by themselves. I wish certain rappers, there's certain rappers who really can't carry it on by themselves. J. Cole.
Bruh. J. Cole can carry an album by himself. Have you heard Born Sinner? Or you have?
Yes, I did hear Born
Sinner. Put you to sleep.
Okay,
right? I know
Born
this story.
Sinner literally made me fall asleep. I'm not joking.
Yes, Born Sinner is a great
I put that album
album.
on and I
though.
fell asleep. I'm not joking.
Born Sinner was an album that helped me get back into hip hop. I was like doubting it, and then I was like, Nate's like, "Hey, you should look at this
Wasn't
album." And I was
resisting
like,
you.
"I'm not gonna look at this album," but it was reverse psychology because I did end up looking at the album, and I really liked it. There's so many good songs on that album. It is such a good album. It is so like, dude, it's so good.
I just can't get into J. Cole. I can't.
Land of the
because
Snakes is just like, woo.
there are good songs on Born Sinner. Like the intro is great on Born Sinner, but
Illuminati
like it just loses steam like after that.
Oh, well, look, let's just go over the track listing right now.
I don't
Alright.
remember the album. I haven't listened to it in like 2
Well, I'm
years,
looking
Jeremiah.
at it. I'm looking at it on iTunes, and I'm gonna.
Okay,
Give you a
we don't have
rundown.
time for this, Jeremiah. Okay, J. Cole, my opinion of J. Cole is he's not a bad rapper. He's a good rapper, but like too good, I guess. Like if you were to tell the average rap fan, hey, build your perfect rapper, he would be the
that's
combination of
definitely
that, and I just
because
that
he's
doesn't
got-
appeal to
he's got
me.
Introspective lyrics. He's got great flow. He's very thoughtful. You're actually right though. He is like
he just
he's
doesn't have
like
like a unique. He just doesn't have a certain like flavor.
he's like
to
the
him.
ideal rapper
And I can't enjoy that because like he just doesn't have a certain uniqueness that I want.
because his
my
flow is it's very easy to understand what he's. Yeah, you're right. I understand what you're saying. I like that a lot. I'm very okay with the build your own rapper perfect thing. But yeah, I guess it's like, oh no, yeah, you're right. But he's good. I like him a lot.
I mean, I completely understand his appeal, but like,
Rich Enna's is such a good song, even though the last like minute of it is ripped straight off of the outro to Pyramids by Frank Ocean. There's like a guitar outro that's like copy pasted from Pyramids.
anyways, back to DS2 real
Right.
quickly. But yeah, great songs here. Songs like Thought I Was a Drought are great, and it's like I just fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip flops. Like it's just the album is just full of quotables, and it's like wonderful. and really good production. Future is able to hold his own. Some of my like personal favorites on the album, of course, I Was a Drought, I Serve the Bass, Rich Sex, Slave Master, Blow a Bag, and especially my favorite song on the album is Know the Meaning, which is just like it's probably the most personal Future song I've ever heard, and because of that, I actually really enjoy it because unlike a certain rapper named Young Thug, Future actually has a little bit of depth and emotion to him where he can get away with a more serious song, like a more serious song, or go with more serious subject matter. Because Young Thug has terrible social skills, and because of that, it's hard to relate to his music. And and also he doesn't really make good music.
Well, I actually really like Young Thug because he's so much fun. Because his flow is just so like, it's just so much fun.
Okay,
like Good Times is a
I think
perfect
it's fine.
example.
I think for single wise, Young Thug has good singles, but like an entire album of Young Thug, no, I couldn't do it.
I mean, I haven't actually listened to Barter 6, but I've listened to enough of his singles to have a good idea of what I imagine Barter 6 sounds like.
Bar 6 is boring. The problem with Bar 6 is that like it strips away the things that I like about Young Thug. Like the production is more minimalistic, and because of that, that's like a lot of the funness of the production that's just gone. It's also, I think he's working with some of his worst producers. Like one on the track is a terrible producer, and I hate him. And then also, also he takes away a lot of the hooks, and it's just generally not like most of the songs are just not as catchy as like some of his singles, and it's just like, why are you taking away the best elements about yourself? It's like, what are you? And I understand it's like, oh, you're trying to prove to everyone like, hey, I don't need these to be good, but it's just sort of like, you just proved us, right, like that you need these things. But whatever. Dirty Sprite 2, I recommend it. 7 out of 10.
All right.
Jeremiah, what'd you listen to?
Is it my turn? Oh, it's my turn. So today, I was playing FIFA, and I was playing FIFA career mode, right? Yes, but I have a Burnley career mode. It's going pretty well. Right now, I'm top of the Prem. But I was like, I need a good album to listen to while I'm playing this. And I happen to have Before the Money by Joey Badass on vinyl, which is a great album that I really enjoyed when it was released. I came back to it every once in a while, but I've only listened to it like I'd say 7 or 8 times. So it's enough to like know some of the punchlines, but not enough to really like I didn't like know the entire album. So today I put it on, and it's a double LP. So what I ended up doing is, because I didn't really want to get up to like change I didn't want to get up to change the record. I would just play sides over and over again. And so I played like side B like 4 times, side C 3 times, and then side D 2 times. And every time I was just like, this album it just got better with every single listen, because the production is so grimy and like spooky at times. And then his flow is it's actually pretty unique, because it's not like the most lyrical, or it's not like the most artsy flow, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to gauge flow, but it's not like a very smooth flow, but like he really like enunciates the final word. He really enunciates his punchlines, and it's like kind of like almost abrasive and like assaulting, but the way he does that over the grimy beats, it comes off like really, really nice and like melodic. And then it also just creates such a vibe. And he's got some really great lines, and the production is, it's so good on Before the Money. And a lot of the subject matter, it's really actually pretty poignant, because a lot of it's about like growing up in Brooklyn and like the struggle. And it's a really good album, and I was glad that I listened to it today, because I hadn't given it a lot of love before. I mean, I really enjoyed it every time I heard it, and it was definitely one of my favorites from this year, but it wasn't like an album that I'd spend as much time as I needed to. And I'm glad I spent more time with it, because it's like, whew, it's a good album. Freaking Jesus View is so good. Oh, and then Big Dusty and like Christ Conscious. And there's that one song, which I can't remember what it's called right now. It's the drum and bass song. Hold on, let me find it.
Once Jeremiah finds the song, I will talk about how Bar 6 is a bad album, despite a certain member on a certain forum by the name of Narsh. On Section 8. Okay, I want to tell you, because I got in an argument with him. Again, there's this guy on this.
I found it.
Okay.
So, I think it's Escape 120.
All right.
Is it? Yeah, it is. Oh my God, Escape 120 is definitely one of my favorite hip hop songs from this year because there's a lot of really great singles on Before the Money, like Paper Trails, Big Dusty, Jesus You, Christ Conscience, like songs like that, which are just like freaking hard hitting, like they bang, but they also have like some really good, meaning to them. So it's like good, great hip hop. But Escape 120 to me is one of the standout tracks on this album because the production is so it's like a D and B beat, like a drum and bass beat, but it's like filtered through that grimy like 90s old school 90s hip hop, New York hip hop like lens, and it comes off as just really really it sets such like a mood, and it's like a mood that like I haven't really heard since Illmatic. This album really does like I don't want to say it reminds me of Illmatic, but it feels like an Illmatic for Brooklyn because like it really teleports me to Brooklyn. It really like makes me feel like I'm there, like the beats and stuff,
Hmm.
which is a great thing that can happen with an album. And I mean, there's a few like Mad Villainy definitely does that, but it's like that's one of those this is one of those albums that like kind of magically puts you in that location, and the album cover also like kind of does that too. It's just a great album. So everybody who hasn't heard Before the Money, go listen to Before the Money. It's really good. Pitchfork panned it, and they were like, "Oh, this album was overlooked." No, you just didn't like like it. Okay. Anyways,
Pretty much any album on their overlooked list was just like
that was
we didn't
really
quite
funny.
give it best new music, but like it was kind of close.
It's not like everybody else really liked this album, so we're gonna say it's overlooked.
Oh, we won't give the sound best new music, but we will give Barter Six best new music.
Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous, but I feel
Fucking joke.
although in Before the Money's defense, or no, in Barter Six's defense, Before the Money was released in like January.
Of course, but
And
still,
so in January, Pitchfork. Well, actually, no, they gave like
they
seven best
gave
new
only
music.
Kura best new music. They gave a couple albums best new music in January.
They gave a ton of albums.
They
best
just think, I don't think they gave Joey best. I think it's just because
I
it's
just think that,
'90s
yeah. They also didn't give
revival.
Tetsu and Youth best new music. I think because they just weren't like.
I don't think Tessie and Youth deserve best new music.
My brother does.
Honestly.
Brother thinks it's really good, but I haven't really heard much from it other than like Mural.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think just they weren't like in the hip hop zone yet. But this album's amazing. I don't really care what Pitchfork thinks.
Mm-hmm. Before you go into your next album, can you tie in with your next album into like your Pitchfork experience? Because
Oh,
you're talking about
good
they play Pitchfork.
call. Oh, that was a good call. Okay, so as some people may know, I went to Pitchfork Music Festival with Alex and Sarah. So, uh,
Okay.
Tadios NG and then Nice Work Sarah, and it was a blast. Pitchfork was really fun. Chicago's a really nice city. I had a good view of the Sears Tower from everywhere, and every time I saw the Sears Tower, I was like, "In the tower above the earth, he was born, Emmanuel." You have to sing with me, anyways.
I don't remember the lyrics.
The Sears Tower. All right.
I don't remember the
Um,
lyrics. Illinois is a long
Anyway,
ass album, dude.
So on Friday, which was the first day.
Oh my god, wait.
What?
I didn't know that the Sears Tower was about, like,
Yup, the
Sears
Tower.
Tower.
Alex didn't either until I started singing the song, and he was like, "Oh!" And I was like, "Yup."
I
Yup.
literally just realized. Oh my god.
Yup.
That's so
Sears Tower,
obvious,
yep.
too.
Yup, it is. It's pretty obvious.
It's an album about Illinois.
Then it says the Sears Tower, but it's spelled different. Anyways, so Friday. Friday was the first day. We met up with the dudes, with some Indieheads dudes at the Kaiser Tiger, which is a bar right outside the park, and I met T-Rex, and then I also met Devon, who is one of Sarah's, who is from the sea on Reddit, and yeah, he went to a concert with Sarah like earlier in the year, and so Sarah knew him, and it was like, and he was really chill, and he was really cool. And apparently he hates me, but like also loves me. That was good. And I met his cousin Jay Smooth, who was ridiculous. And we also met Tom. He was a great guy. Tom is the best. Anyways, so right, we go to Pitchfork. We caught a few acts, and for Panda Bear, Sarah and I were like, we'd rather see Panda Bear up front than like be stranded between Mac DeMarco and Panda Bear. So we went up front for Panda Bear. And it was really cool because Panda Bear was like, "Peace, don't have a sick to think." And me and Sarah were like into it.
It was his birthday too that day, right?
It was his birthday. He didn't get to play
It was
Mr.
his
Noah
birthday.
because he didn't have time. But we were all like, "Happy birthday, Noah." And he was like, "Thanks, guys."
Oh.
And that was the only interaction we had with him. Just very Noah thing to do. He probably missed his Cubs, and I understood that because they're in Portugal.
He misses his girls. He's got to give him Adobe slabs.
Well, he has a son now too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a male Cub. But anyways, I don't know where am I going. Oh, that's right. So then Churches was next, but Sarah and I were like, wait a minute. We are right at the bar. Wilco plays in an hour and a half. Why not just stay at the bar for Wilco? That'll be so cool. And so we did. And I got to see Pitchfork or Churches from the distance. I got to sing along a little bit, and Sarah was like, "You listen to Churches?" I was like, "Yes, I listen to Churches. They're so good."
I can just imagine that in real life. Oh god, that's okay. Keep going, Jeremiah. Oh, that was just really funny.
Wilco came on, and we were like freaking out because it was Jeff Tweedy, and like the one guitarist was there was like they all differed in age. It was like look, there was like a 5-year age difference between every member, right? Like the lead guitarist was like 60.
All right.
The drummer was like 55. I think Jeff's like 47, right? Let me check.
I have
Jeff,
no idea.
we're gonna get it.
But what if they just keep adding members to their band? And
Yo,
then eventually
he's
just
47, right on the money.
What if they just keep adding members to the band and they just keep getting younger and younger, and it gets to like Jeff Tweed's son? It's like, oh, okay, and then it gets to a fucking baby. It's like, baby, you played a triangle, I guess. So
I guess his son actually.
yeah,
played.
him and his son they have a band. They put out an album like last
Anyways.
year, I think.
So his and then the bassist was like 42, and then the rhythm guitarist was like 35. So it was actually really funny. But anyways, they went really hard. They played Star Wars in its entirety, which we didn't really know what was going on at the time. And we're like, no one else is singing along, but like we're not super familiar with Wilco. We don't really know what's happening right now. Like we're like, oh my god, we're not super fans, and we're in the front row. Ah! And then it turns out they were just playing their new album. And it was really good, and there was a lot of energy. They played a bunch of songs from all their albums. They played... So, anyways, the album that I was going to talk about is Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. What did they play from Yankee Hotel Foxtrot? They played Camera, which was really rockin'. They played a really rockin' rendition of Camera. They played I'm the Man Who Loves You, which is a very real song in my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they also played... They didn't play Jesus, Etc., which is probably for the best. Or Radio Cure, which is also probably for the best. They played Heavy Metal Drummer, and they also played I'm Trying to Break Your Heart, which was like, whoo! Because everybody was like, assassin down the avenue. But everybody was singing, right? And it was just crazy. Yeah. Anyways, so we saw Wilco. They were great. I want to talk about Wilco's album, classic, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, because it's great. There's not really actually much to say about it. It's actually one of those really like excellent albums because it's very bittersweet, but it's also like, and it deals with a lot of like stuff about relationships, but it's also like not a breakup album, and it's like that's actually really rare, you know, because I think about some of my favorite albums that I would always listen to, that I would always turn to, and I realized that a lot of like Hummingbird by Local Natives, This Is Happening by LCD Sound, and like stuff like that. That's all like really like those are really like breakup albums, you know. There's a lot of like permanent conflict that can't be, or like a permanent rift that can't be healed. But what makes Yankee Hotel Foxtrot cool is that it's a lot like Boxer or Alligator by The National. It's like there's tension there and there's like conflict, but at the same time it's just like positive, and there's a lot of optimism, and there's a lot of like, I have reservations about so many things, but not about you, you know? Like that sentiment that I'm going to stick with you, even though I'm also going to break your heart, you know? Stuff like that. And it's also real for me because letters between a correspondent who is far away, and it's sad. And stuff like, I don't know, it's good. Radio Cure is a real song. Jesus, Etc. is one of the best songs I've ever heard, too. So there's that. Yeah, it's a great album. Everybody should listen to it if you haven't. I didn't really know where I was going with that, but I've been listening to that a lot lately because it's good.
I mean,
That's
I
like
rap a lot about Beach Boys, so
that's
you did fine.
yeah. That's my go-to album whenever I have a headache. I don't know. That had nothing to do with
Whenever I
any
have a
sort of
headache, the
discussion.
spirit they're gone, spirit they vanished.
Why?
Oh, same. Full
'Cause
volume,
there's
just
like-
untitled.
Okay, I
on
would because
the
the random harsh noise segments that would just.
No, but that's the best part. Like I was listening to it last night because I was like really stressed out, and of course, like April and the Phantom is like woo, like that song bangs. But then Untitled came on, and it was just like all the really harsh, like hissing, like like screeching, like tape noises, and you're like ah. But it's like normally it's like ah. But then yesterday when I was listening to it, I was just like, this is so nice.
You know
And
what
that's how
song?
you know.
You know what calms my headache? I just go to this one video. It's called Green Text Animal Collective. Have you seen
Yikes.
Arthi? I know Arthi's seen. Have you seen that video, Jeremiah?
I don't think I have.
Okay. I'm gonna show it to you real quick. I'm gonna look it up. It is wonderful.
Okay, I'm watching it now.
Oh, you found
My
it?
favorite
Okay.
thing to do is when I have the aux cord, just play Untitled.
Okay, okay, so okay, at 26:15
Wait, can you
I'm gonna
play
play
that
it.
one?
The video for you on YouTube. Okay, then I played the video. Hopefully you saw it on YouTube. Jeremiah. I saw it in a mute thread and I was dying laughing when I first found it. I was like, oh my god.
The worst part is like we know what song that is.
I don't know
Or
what
at
song it
least
is.
I
I know. I think it's. Someone said it was off of Song Tongs, and I think Nick said that to me. Okay, Arthi, what were you listening to this week?
I'm so sad. This is way out of context.
Like those Deacon memes.
It's my favorite band. Okay.
Okay, Arthi, please tell us what you listen to. You, please, for the love of God.
Okay. So this week I've been listening to a lot of Frank Ocean, all 3 of his albums, Nostalgia Ultra, Channel Orange, and the recently released Boys Don't Cry.
Okay, Arthi, I hope you don't. Okay, Arthi, this is gonna be very offensive. I'm gonna apologize in advance, but shut up, you bitch. Don't even say that. Don't even say you're listening to Boys Don't Cry. Don't play with my heart like that, Arthi. Don't play with my heart. Okay? Don't play with my heart.
Strong words.
Yikes.
Okay? You don't joke around about that.
Okay.
Sorry, please
So-
continue. I'm sorry.
The one I've been listening to most is Channel Orange, more than Nostalgia Ultra, and a lot more than Boys Don't Cry, which doesn't
Channel
exist.
Channel Orange is just like, wow.
Yeah,
What an
I
album.
mean, it's like, it has like so many, it's
Tame.
honestly, I think one of my, probably in my top 5 of the decade, most definitely, actually.
It's number 2 for me.
I don't
only-
want to rank them
only
because
beaten
that
by-
makes me sad.
I know.
It's so static.
I've
but,
only
like-
ranked like 4 of them, but it's definitely it's number 2 only to Dark Fantasy. But that's because
It's
that's
like
Pitchfork.
it
school
just
stuff.
has. It's like so. It's
It's
so,
so
interesting.
good. And it's so thematically, like, there's so much to it. There is so much
Yeah.
to it. Like,
It's like
the little thing in the middle, those 4 songs in the middle, Pilot Jones, Crack Rock, Pyramids, and Lost. That is one of the strongest, I mean, specifically Crack Rock, Pyramids, and Lost, but Pilot Jones is like the intro to that. That is one of the thematically the strongest three songs on any album. Like three songs, like individually, just as like songs, they're all amazing, and it's like one of the best three-song sequences. But when you put it in context with like the thematic scope, that little narrative between those three songs, or at least like the thematic constants of it, is so powerful. Because crack rock is obviously about, you know, the crack epidemic, and so that's just a really powerful song, especially since like it's about the way that the crack epidemic has like fucked over African Americans, right?
Yeah.
And
And
then
like,
Pyramids is once I realized what Pyramids was really about, I was kind of my mind was kind of blown because it obviously it starts out with Cleopatra, like Cleopatra from Egypt, and you're like, whoa, this is weird. They're like dancing in the pyramids. This is pretty surreal. But then you kind of realize that like that Cleopatra is Africa. It is the African, and then Samson, and then when they kill Cleopatra, that is Africa being taken and like the culture being subverted and everything, and is being taken into slavery, and the white people coming and just like fucking everything over, making everything bad because they want the yams, and Okonkwo has the yams, and it's just a bad time. And so then they take Cleopatra, and it's just like, and that's pretty heartbreaking. And then it gets even more heartbreaking because you fast
yeah,
forward like
'cause
300 years, and now Cleopatra, who was once like the the pinnacle of like culture, because African culture was the shit before it got fucked over. Well, I mean, all culture is really equal anthropologically, but
yeah,
it
isn't it
gets got
like
subverted,
it
and now
takes
she's
her and that she's just kind
and
of
now
being
she's a
pimped out, I
prostitute,
guess.
and now she's a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so like wow, wow. And that song on it's like already like insanely good, like production wise, and the hooks and everything like that. And it's just like insane. But like this 10-minute long song with one of the strongest narratives of like any song released in recent memory, and it's and the beat is just like so moving. It's so good.
It's definitely like an epic.
Oh, it's definitely an epic.
I really think that like even when you're like I've been listening to this. I've been listening to this album like every single day recently just cuz like I've really been feeling it. And like when you listen in, I it just like even like the production is so good.
Oh
And
yeah.
like obviously and all the
Like
like the
the vision he had on this
instrumentation.
album is just crazy. And every song is different too. That's another thing. Every song is different.
See,
But
okay,
they
Just
all
like
can I
work
discuss
together
that real
so
quick?
well.
Jeremiah?
just something you said. Yeah. What's
Okay,
that?
like it's hard to define what a perfect album is to a lot of people because it's different for a lot of people. But like, I think a good descriptor of a perfect album is that every track sounds different from each other, but they all fit in together. Like
Yeah.
once you put the
That's a
entire part
good.
together. I mean, there's
That's
a couple
good.
albums
I
that do
mean,
that for me.
It's
yeah. I
like
mean,
they're different, but they have
They all have the same
like the
tone.
same set of ideas and like the same tone kind of flowing through them.
it's a very whole. It's a very whole album, is what I would say. It is because it's just so, and it's just like, it's just oh my gosh. Just looking at the track listing right now is just making me feel things.
And then
Like
also like
thinking like it
it's
starts off with the little intro and then it goes into thinking about you, which that song is just amazing. That song, the strings, the second those strings start, I just feel my heart like imploding, you know? Just like a tornado flew around
My
my room
room before you
before you
came.
came.
Excuse the
Excuse
mess I
the mess I
made. It
made. It
usually doesn't
usually
rain
doesn't
in
rain.
Southern
Southern
California,
California,
much like
much like
Arizona.
Arizona. My eyes don't shed
In this
tears,
morning,
but girl, they're
when I'm thinking
falling.
about you.
Thinking about you.
Ooh, no, no, no. I've
Anyways,
been thinking
so
about you.
and then in the second verse when he's like, I never thought you were cute, or I thought you were cute. That's why I kissed you. Got a fighter jet. I don't get to fly it though. I'm lying down. Like that wordplay is just amazing. This album geeks me out. Lost. All right. Anyways,
Yeah.
Crack Rock
It's
Pyramid
like-
and Lost.
It's like
The freaking beat on Lost, like the drums and like the synthesizers, and what that song is about, and it's just like the hook and everything is like it's so nice.
My
and,
personal
like,
favorite
sad.
off of Channel Orange is Monks because I love those goddamn drums.
Beer chests, beer chests.
God damn it! Okay, so I was singing the lyrics
Right,
in the chat because
yes,
you guys
sir.
were talking about Channel Orange last night, and I said it's supposed to be bare chest, but I said beer chest because that's what it sounds like, and you guys made fun of me, and I thought, I was just disencouraged to join in for the rest of it. I was just like, God damn it, guys!
And it was during Monks, and he's like, mosh pits and wet. Or wait. I don't know. He says beer chests. He thought it was beer chests, not bear chests. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Beer
Like,
chest, like a chest of beer, you know, like a chest, like a Minecraft chest, you know? Like a chest of beer.
I like how you
Is
could
that
have
why when you
described
spray
the
it with
chest
cold
with like
water,
any
it turns
other
into that
descriptor, but
I
you
just don't-
used Minecraft as a descriptor?
Well, that's a good comment. It's a good reference, I guess. I don't know. That's the first thing I was thinking of, Arthi. Just don't shut up. Don't judge me.
Pink Matter, too, dude. Freaking.
Andre 3000.
Alright, actually, so Alex and I were listening to it on the car, and then when End, like, during that 3 minutes of, like, silence, he was like, oh, let me go just pick the other album. I was like, Alex, what are you doing? We have to wait for Golden Girl. And he's like, no, let me go pick it. This album's over. And then Golden Girl started, and he was like, what?
He didn't know
Because
Golden Girl
it turns
existed?
No, because he has the iTunes version, apparently. The
I mean,
iTunes version doesn't have
I
Golden
did
Girl.
for it too, but I knew Golden Girl existed.
And Golden Girl is just one of those. It's just one of the best closing songs ever. Just like it's just so nice. It is like so pretty and like makes me feel so good on the inside.
What do you think of the Tower verse on there?
Oh, Tyler's verse is so good too. Wait, how does it start? You my GOLDGDEGIRL, and that's for the female I can't smell. Thanks for fucking with me. To my dark in the light, you're like a bucket of bleach. Oh God, that
How do you remember these verses? I don't remember this shit.
because I've listened to this album like 100 times.
Oh god. Okay, but anyways, there's this comment on Future Talk. Whenever Frank Ocean was like, whenever he revealed that he was in love with a man at one point, there's like one guy in like big bold capital letters, like giant font. You're fucking telling me thinking about you was about a man? I've sang that shit like 1,000,000 times. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's gross. Like, honestly, who cares? Another thing I really like about
Okay,
this
this was
album.
back in 2012, okay? Like, things were like a little
Ah,
different.
yes, 2012, the conservative time.
Okay, it wasn't that conservative, but like, it wasn't, again, okay, gay rights were, okay, Arthi, this is on an Odd Future form, okay, in 2012, okay?
Yeah, I
That's
know.
You gotta
actually-
realize
there's
this.
a lot of- yeah. What he did was actually really brave and stuff.
Yeah.
Really-
Another thing I really like about this album, which no one has let me talk about, is I really like how it's not just like it's like so good, but it's also like it's like you can listen to it alone like in your bedroom and like analyze everything, but then you can also bump it when you're like in a car
Oh,
with
yeah.
your friends.
That's true. That's another thing.
It's very
Yeah.
accessible.
That's like a nice like alone album.
Also, all of the
Sierra
bass is really
Leone.
good. I just wanted to say that. The
Every
bass
song
on
on
Monks
this album
is so
like
good.
favorite.
And on Lost too.
Oh,
I
Lost
used to-
is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard.
I
It's just
used
so,
to not
like,
like
sweet.
Lost the first time I heard it, but that's because I wasn't listening to the bass, and then I heard it, and then now I really like it.
I put Lost in so many playlists just because it's such like a nice song. Oh, and that chorus too. Girl, we know you're lost.
Lost in the heat of it all.
Miami, Amsterdam, Tokyo, Spain, lost. Boo, boo, boo. And then like he does a very Marvin Gaye thing on a few songs where he like overdubs himself singing it. So he duets with himself. Like Sierra Leone
Yeah.
is a prime example of that. That song is
That's some Prime Beach
for
Boys
2
influence
minutes and
overdubbing.
30 seconds. Like the song is like the gold sounds of R&B. That's an ambitious comparison. but they're both like shorter than 3 minutes, so I just made it. Um, no, Sierra Leone is really gorgeous, and it's just so like powerful too. The little story he tells, and it's also just like so beautiful and optimistic, and just like even though the narrator is like, "Baby girl, if you knew what I know, knew what I know, oh, no, no." Like even though there's that, and like there's obviously like a lot of sadness and a lot of hurt and a lot of just pain there, but it's also just like so happy because it's a new baby. Even though it's like a baby being born to teenagers, it's still like I don't know. There's just so much happy. It's such an optimistic album, even though
And
there's
there's
like so
also a
much
little bit of gayness in
sadness.
the album too.
What?
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, well, dude, that's not a big. I mean, yeah, sure, it's good. Good
I mean, it's a
for,
good song. Yeah, I love it. But
good for Frank Ocean. It's not a problem that he's
yeah,
gay
I
or
mean,
that he's bisexual. Forrest Gump was
he's no
actually the song.
motherfucker.
Forrest Gump was actually the song that convinced me to actually like Frank Ocean because my brother kept trying to show me stuff from Nostalgia Ultra, especially Novocaine. But I was still in that phase where I wasn't really into hip hop yet, or I wasn't even really into like anything. Like Channel Orange was the album that got me back into hip hop.
I thought that was Born Sinner, Jeremiah.
Well, no. This is the one that this is like Channel Orange was like the intro
Okay.
right back in. It was the one that was like that like got me into like soul music, and then I was ready for hip hop. Right, so this was very essential. But he kept trying to play me like Novocaine, which obviously like the chorus and like to me all it was about was sex. I didn't realize until later, until Nate explained to me that he was bisexual and he explained like the nature of the song and how this like sex isn't actually like meaningful. It's just like mindless and numb, like Novocaine. I was like, oh. But anyways, I just didn't like him. You know, I didn't appreciate him until Nate played Forrest Gump and told me about like the letter or the Tumblr post, and then I was just like, wow, yeah. And the Grammys rolled around, and I listened to it a few times, and I was like, this needs to win. And I became like so thoroughly Team Channel Orange that was like, let's just go. And the album's amazing. I love it so much. We should probably change the subject because I've been talking about Channel Orange for like the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, should we go? Okay, do you want to talk about Vampire Weeks, or do we just want to go to the main topic, Arthi?
Oh, Vampy Weeks! I forgot. Yes, let's talk about Vampy Weeks.
Okay, okay. Do you guys hear my sister?
Maybe.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Sorry, my parents. They just went to go to fireworks in a different city, even though it's like towards the end of July, and my mom and my sister are talking, and they're very loud. And I don't have like noise repellent on my door.
Mute your mic.
I will mute my mic. You guys talk about Vampire Weeks because I'm not familiar with them.
All
Alright, so, this week, or last week, I talked about how I listened to the Beats One radio show, the first episode of Ezra Koenig's Beats One radio show, Time Crisis, with Ezra Koenig. But that was really good. But then that made me feel like maybe I should listen to Vampire Weekend again because I kind of like fell out of listening to Vampire Weekend.
Yeah. There's like
And then
I haven't listened to Vampire Weekend.
It's like, okay, I'll make this comparison later. Never mind. But I've listened to like
2010 and I haven't looked back.
I've been in the game since. Yeah, I think like the exact same year as you actually. Cool. I was there when Contra came out. I was there at the first Lum Run practices.
I was there. Anyways.
Okay. So
I was there in 1968 at the first Can show in Cologne. Was that the right year?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
There's so many words in that song.
Sorry, my sister.
The only ones I know are Gil, Scott, Heron,
Gil,
the
Scott,
Split.
Swans. I heard you and your band sold your guitars for
turntables.
Okay, please continue with Vampy Weeks.
Okay, so I listened to all their albums, and like, I like their self-titled, and I used to really like it. Like, Um, okay. I don't have that much to say about that one. It's like
If
the
you're not
thing about
dissing, if you're not
their
dissing,
discography that's really interesting is that you can tell like how they you can see like what how they've matured.
yeah,
But like Contra isn't like an in-between stage. Contra is like it's like I mean it is, but it doesn't seem like it because it's like very good on its own, but it's also like in between just like the fun like college kids who like Paul Simon of the self-titled and like the educated city dweller vibe of like modern vampires. And Diplomat's Son is a really good song. Can we just go through our favorites on each album?
of course.
Can that be a thing? Okay.
Contra is
So
actually, I think Contra is actually my favorite Vampire Weekend.
I
It
don't
actually
want
like
to pick.
that clicked for me. No, that clicked for me last winter when I was listening to it in the library, and like it's one of those albums that it on the surface it kind of seems just kind of poppy. I mean, there's some like sadder songs like Horchata, but like the more you listen to it, the more like the sort of the emotions that lie just underneath the surface really start to come out. And that's what I think is
Yeah,
really
it's like
compelling
it's
about
kind
it.
of how it's like they're similar to Frank Ocean in a way
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
and like a lot of artists because like it's like very enjoyable on the surface, but then at the same time, if you do like a ton of research on what every song is about, then it's also like very enjoyable in that
Well,
respect.
not even. Oh yeah, I mean, but like even then, like the little bits of like emotion that lie underneath the surface on Contra
Yeah.
aren't even like you read the lyrics to find it. It's just like little ways that Ezra like maybe like twinges his voice, or maybe that little way the synthesizer comes in right there, or that bass
Yeah,
line on
like when
giving
his
up the gun.
voice.
There's just so many small little aspects of it that really like make it that like really like blend the maturity of modern vampires and like or I don't really want to say of modern vampires, but it's really
Yeah.
mature and really like emotional and really thoughtful in a way that like doesn't really come off that way. Whereas I mean of course
And
modern vampires like is obviously like it's very mature, it's very emotional, and it's very forthright about that. It doesn't really hide that. But Contra is a really special album because it kind of does like it's like very sneaky about it. It's definitely a winter album for me, but it just kind of like hides, you know? It's like it's very low key, but it's an album that if you give lots of time to, it really grows on you. And also, Giving Up the Gun. I've said this like a majillion times to everyone I've met, but Giving Up the Gun is the song that I've heard more times than any other song across like all mediums because on my old iTunes library, it had like 140 listens, which was in the top like 10. And then my computer got stolen and I had to make a new one. And now it's still in the top 10. And then on my friend's computer, because his dad introduced me to Vampire Weekend, I always played Giving Up the Gun in the car. And that has like 150 listens there. And I'm sure on Pandora, I heard it like 50 times. And so essentially, I've heard this song a lot more times than any other song, and every time it doesn't get boring to me because it's just
I
so nice. And that bass line on Giving Up the Gun is just like, ah! Oh man, the bass line is so catchy too. Anyways, right, favorite songs from each album. Horchata, for sure is one of my absolute favorite songs because that song is just so like once that song really clicked for me, I remember where I was too. I think it was like ninth grade and I was in bed and I was reading song meanings and about the song, and it really clicked for me, and I was like, "Wow, this song is really nice, and it's really powerful." And that the third verse when he's lips and teeth. Wait, how does it start?
New
Shoot,
York.
no,
That
hold on.
goes shotgun on. King of the Empire,
stop.
top of the rock. I like the song. Okay, that's
I
my
like
biggest
it
connection to
too.
Vampire. Which second half is
I
it?
I like Ezra Koenig's voice a lot because it's so expressive. But
Too
not like
much to
expressive just in
handle.
like
Fish the crabs
like
that
just like
pinch.
out there, but it's like expressive as in
Oh
like
yeah,
you can tell what he's
oh, it's
feeling,
this
but it's
verse.
not
It's this
like
verse.
it's like subtle, but like also expressive.
Yeah, and this verse in Horchata is like the one that really secures him as one of the premier indie songwriters. It's years go by and hearts start to harden. Those palms and ferns that grew in your garden are falling down and nearing the rose beds whose roots are shooting up through the to shed those lips and teeth that I out my day when I was shouting up through cracks in the pavement. Doot, 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 doot. And the way he like runs out of breath at the very end of that verse is so. That's like Ezra's best moment for me. It's just
Yeah,
so
and like
beautiful.
how his voice kind of cracks throughout that too. Like
Oh,
throughout that
so
verse.
perfect. I love Ezra so much.
I
And
love
then,
his
of
voice
course,
so much.
he's
I
so
like his
ideal.
talking voice a lot.
Somebody
Yeah.
said that I look like Ezra Koenig when we did, or Ezra Koenig when we did the Fantano cast, which is really flattering. Anyways, one of my favorite songs on self-titled, obviously Walcott, because that song is amazing, and I love Walcott, and it makes me like feel things. And also, I Stand Corrected. I think it's one of the more underrated songs.
Yeah.
The song is awesome.
My favorite on that album is Campus, which is like the
I
most
see
underrated song
the
because it's like
rock.
right in the middle.
I've actually
And
never.
like,
That song was always a standout for me. I never thought thought of it as underrated. A song that I do think is underrated because everybody's like, "This song is dumb." This Blake's got a new face. This song is awesome.
yeah, I love that song.
Blake's got a new face.
But the second half of Campus is just what does it for me. It's so good.
And then of course, Modern Vampires, like every song, because this album
Wait,
is
did
my
we
soundtrack to
Did we
summer
skip Contra?
2000.
Did you already say it?
Nah, we started with
So-
Contra because alphabetically on my computer it goes Contra first, so that's what I was looking at first.
Oh yeah, my favorite on Contra is Diplomat's Son because it's incredible. Because like that song, that song is like about a short story called Diplomat's Son.
I'm pretty sure
Except
he uses. I think I read bits of that. I'm
I know.
pretty sure,
Hold
like,
on. Wait,
Okay, sorry.
let me explain. So, like one part, that song's not written by Ezra. It's written by Rostam, and I think it's the only song he's ever written. Hold on. Okay, sorry. That song is like in one like on one hand it's about this story, Diplomat's Son, and that story is not like it's like that short story, except they decided to reimagine it as a love story. And that's what the song's about, but then also the song is about Rostam, like Rostam's gay, and that song is about him like exploring and discovering his own sexuality.
This
And it
is
just
true.
Yeah, it just holds a very special place in my heart for when I was in the same place as him as a young girl.
It's a very,
Okay.
very good. It's a very, very
And
good song.
also, I've recently been really liking Taxi Cab on that album. That song's so
Taxi
pretty.
doors open wide, and you pretend you were horrified. Song is very good. A Contra is an amazing album. And then
Yeah,
Modern
and then
Vampires means a lot
also-
to me because of when it came out. Bruh.
Anna.
Okay, should we go into the main topic now, or you guys?
We should. But I kind of just want to look at like this track listing. I'm just gonna read the track listing for everybody, just in case you forgot.
You know what I really like? The
Obvious Bicycle.
part in Fingerback where it's like the spoken
with
word
the
part
rock. Yeah.
where he's like,
You
this girl
Phoenix,
fell in
you're on
love with the guy
23rd
in a
Broadway,
waffle shop.
Just want to remind everyone, this is the #1 music podcast on the internet, where we read off track listings and sing karaoke and gush over a bunch of ours.
I was making a
with the
point.
guy at the waffle shop, and why not? Should she have averted her eyes and just stared at the laminated poster of the dome with the rock?
One music podcast.
Yeah,
Also, the
Number
spoken word
one.
parts in Yahe.
Yeah, it's in the
Also, like, I
festival
really
grounds
just-
when
Podcast.
the sun came. Something I heard you spill something about Jewish people in the 19th nervous breakdown. Anyways, Modern Vampires is a very
It's
good
'cause
album.
I
That's
really
side
like
A.
listening to him talk.
That side A is really nice. Ezra's a perfect human being. Is he married yet? No. I think he's been in a
He's still in his
long-term
20s, I
relationship
think.
though.
or at least he's about to turn 30.
He's
He's about to turn 30.
like 29
But I
because
made a
he made a
commitment to
tweet
not
because
get
he
married.
was like, can I still be indie when I'm 30?
There was again, I was reading up on like the history of Vampire Weekend, and he used to be a middle school teacher.
Hudson's a
Yes.
really good song, guys.
And he brought his guitar to
Sorry.
class every day. And like he was really chill with the kids. And apparently he made bonds with them. Anyways, let's probably start on like
Wait,
the
he
main
made bongs?
bonds.
Oh, bonds. I think he said bongs. I was like, what? Like, I knew he was kind of in like an inner city.
His
like,
YouTube
school.
channel.
Yeah.
His YouTube
Yeah.
channel is just like 6 videos of him playing the same Dave Matthews Band song on the guitar. Wait, let me link it to you. Also, you guys should listen to Time Crisis. I think I've plugged it
I
on
listened
like
to
2
the iTunes-
podcasts so far.
I listened to the iTunes segment of Time Crisis where they're talking about the iTunes song.
Did you?
I did.
Did you like it?
It was funny. It was funny. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was really funny
I
that both
really
were
like
and
Dezu and Marrow too, but also like I really like Ezra's voice.
what made that really funny for me is how he had both Rashida Jones and Mark Ronson on at different times because they actually were married and then divorced.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Ronson and Rashida Jones,
Oh, I gotta look this up. How did I not know about this?
right?
I know he had. The segment I was on, he had like Despot and some other guy on there.
Wait,
Okay. Anyways, we really
he
need to
became
get.
engaged to Mark Ronson in February 2003. Their
Oh, wow, she's only, like,
relationship
5'4".
ended approximately 1 year later.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. She was in. Okay, to remember, she was engaged. Right. Oh, okay. So they never married. They were engaged at one point. Okay, that is kind of funny. Okay. Anyways, okay. Actually, speaking of Mark Ronson, this is a good transition into our main topic. We're finally discussing the one, the only, Young Thug Barter 6. A couple months late, I know, but we're finally going to discuss
Tame
this album
Impala
in late. Just kidding.
Currents.
We're talking about Tame Impala Currents.
AKA
Album of the year 2015, 9.3. B&M.
best new meme.
Memes. Oh,
Best new meme. This album is a conundrum wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a riddle.
Okay, I do want to say this is one of the most conflicting album. I think this is one of the most interesting albums of 2015. It's also very conflicting, but I dislike it. But just to flat out say it, I generally dislike this album.
I am kind of on the fence about it. I'm just gonna tell you in my opinion. Because on one hand, like production wise, it is woohoo! It is tasty. Like I want to eat this album. It tastes like candy. Like in my head, it's candy, and I want to eat it. And just so many of the songs, it's such a well-crafted pop album. Like the pop songs, like they're just catchy, they just feel good. But then there's songs like Past Life, which like totally take. I know everybody's like, I pretty much like beat the dead horse that is Past Life being bad over and over again. But that song, at least in terms of the pop music side of it, it totally like breaks that nice pop music immersion and kind of has to take you into the narrative. And this is when the album I don't like it because Kevin Parker is not the best songwriter in indie.
It is especially
By a
apparent on this
long-
album that he is not the best
And
songwriter.
it is, and there is some of his lyrics on this album are just like not good. And before,
Well,
like,
we should
Motorism-
we should
well,
explain our
Motorism-
problems with this album. We should go more in depth on this.
okay, yeah, I know.
So-
That's where we're getting though. So that's like the basic thing is that I think this album is amazingly produced. I think it's an amazingly produced album. I think it sounds awesome, and I love the vibe of it.
I kind of
But-
disagree to an extent. I think production overall is
we're-
good, but there's some songs that I don't like. Production,
Oh, yeah,
I don't
they're-
like. But I
like
think it's just like
Past Life.
personal preference.
But yeah, but I mean, it's like as far as it's just there's some really great pop songs on it. It's just really really nice songs that I think might be some of my favorites from this year, or at least as a whole. The album it's just really easy to get into, but at the same time, there are levels of it that where on some albums like that added layer of depth is really beneficial. Like I don't know, Contra, as we were mentioning earlier, how Contra on the surface it's pop. But there's like just you go down just a tiny bit and it just blossoms, you know? So that's an album like Contra. And this album, I think, is an album that was designed to do that. But
Comes
it
off
just
the complete
doesn't
opposite.
when you dig down there, you just find like kind of like gross stuff and it's just like I don't want to be down here.
So,
And
but
yeah.
In short, this album is basically like it's like if your douchey ex-boyfriend wrote an album. That's the description I would give to Currents. Is that if your douchey ex-boyfriend writes an album?
So what are we gonna start with? What are we gonna talk about?
Do we want to go like straight with the intro? I don't want to do like a track by track assessment, but like
we're not going to. Let's just talk about what we like about the album.
Okay, can
I think I have probably the worst opinion of Currents than everyone ever.
And like
Currents? Someone on this sub is gonna listen to this podcast and be like, "Wow, I hate that girl," because like basically, I was like, it's like yeah, it's all right. Like I didn't really listen to the lyrics. They're kind of like. I never really listened to Tame Impala's lyrics that much. I listened to it for the vibe, and I really like Lonerism like a lot. And like
lyrics on Lonerism are fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Lonerism like today actually, like when I was watering flowers, or tonight when I was watering flowers. And Lonerism, I don't like it. Like I just can't hold like a personal connection with it. But like it was pleasant, and it wasn't pleasant. I mean, it was pleasant, and it wasn't offensive. Unlike Currents, which is somewhat offensive.
Anyways, Arthi, sorry, finish what you were saying.
But like the first time I listened to it, and like the second time I listened to it, because I only listened to it like 3 times at the most, maybe not even that many times, was like my favorite song was Nangs. I don't know if that's
a very good song. It's in my top 3 of the album, easily.
It's
but it's also 1 minute and 48 seconds long.
But the reason, and that's like the shortest song on the album, and like I don't know what that says about. Oh, whoops! That's like one of the shortest songs, and I don't know what that says about it or what that says about me. But like, I realized that the only reason I like that song is just because it sounds the most like Lonerism, and that's like, it's good. I like that they're like trying new things and like he's trying to focus more on his lyrics and like he's just trying to figure it out. But like I don't know. I just did want Lonerism Part 2 and I was that one person who did. And then like I know that's not really what I should have expected, but like if I like, I guess my verdict is if I'm like, I want to listen to Tame Impala right now, I'm probably not going to go listen to Currents.
Mm-hmm.
That's respectable. Okay, I want to go first when I talk about Currents, because, Jeremiah, you kind of let it at first. Okay, the main theme of the album is about change. It is about changing as a person. But the problem with that is that throughout the entire album, Kevin Parker's all just like, I'm a different person now. I'm changing as a person over and over again, beating upon my head. I'm changing.
People say you never change, but that's bullshit. They do.
Okay,
why?
It's okay. Thing is, in the album, the reason why I say it's like your douchey ex-boyfriend is because like. He tries getting back in your life. It's like, I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I'm different now. I changed. I realized what I did wrong, babe. I'm sorry. And the lyrics of the album and just the general theme, like the theme of like changing as a person, but like it doesn't really come off that way. It's a lot like the production, where the production, it's trying to be like, the production, like it's not that different from Lonerism in my opinion. It's not that different. He just added some more synthesizers. There's still guitars in there, there's still bass, and there's still the drums.
But the synthesizers are the main thing.
But there's more focus on synthesizers and more 80s influence. But it's not like a super artistic progression like some people are making it out to be, because it's not.
I actually do think it's pretty different from Lonerism.
I think
but that's just because
Lonerism.
Yeah, because I've listened to Loner like. I think maybe the reason you don't think that is because you aren't familiar with Lonerism.
And that's probably the main reason. But like, I listened to it today, and I was like, this. I listened to Lonerism and Currents back to back, and I was like, this isn't that much different. I think there's certain songs on the album that are like a little bit different, but like but most of the album is not that
Yeah,
different
that's
to
weird.
Lonerism.
I mean, like,
Actually,
I'm very, very
that's actually
familiar with.
yeah, me too. I'm very familiar with Lonerism too, and they're very, very different albums. And I actually feel kind
Yeah.
of bad because, like, I think like my feelings towards Currents might make me not like listen to Lonerism anymore, which makes me feel really sad because I love Lonerism so much. But I don't know. They're actually really different. I do like the direction he went. I do like. I mean, granted, I'm a sucker for a good synthesizer. I'm a sucker for a good synth
And
pop.
I am too, but like,
But
I
think
think
he
I'm
did.
just not. I'm not a big. I'm sorry, Jeremiah. I'm just not a big
Like
like
let it
biggest fan of
happen.
like nostalgia acts. I guess.
I
I
wouldn't
don't know.
consider this nostalgia actually. Because people always point to like the '80s stuff, but on this it really does sound fresh. At least in terms of the production, in terms of the sound, it sounds like obviously there's some '80s like tribute, but at the same time, it's also like it also does feel like a new thing. It does feel very fresh. Like there's sometimes when like you can have a very album like that's like drenched in nostalgia that does pay tribute to a lot of things from the past, and it can sound, you know, really nostalgic and almost like bloated and like and it's nostalgic. Looking at Lost in the Dream, which is an amazing album, by the way, it finally clicked for me. But that was my first reaction, was that it was so ground in the '80s that like it was almost suffocating the album. But actually, Currents does not feel like one of those albums to me. It does sound very fresh. It does like something sound so that was so bleh. It does sound like something new before. It does sound like something I have never heard. And I really, really like that. I really, really like the sound. It's just it sounds like teal and red, and it sounds like a really tasty candy that I want to eat. And I really appreciate production like that, the little candy coated production. But oh yeah, and so like Let It Happen, like the little like it's like yeah, feel this, and you can dance to it, and then like eventually the guitars on eventually are really good. I think that's one of the only guitar centric tracks is eventually. But it's just like I really like the sound. I really like the sound he went for. I like the direction he went. And I mean everybody knew he was going to change. I realistically I would not have liked another Lonerism. Well, actually no, that's not true. I would have. Other people wouldn't have. It would have been disappointing if he made another Lonerism.
Yeah.
Because Inner Speakers and Lonerism, they're very similar. And I did want him to change it up. Because I do like it when artists change. And I think he did go a really interesting direction. But the other thing he changed, which he beat us over the head with song titles like Yes, I'm Changing and New Person, Same Old Mistakes, is the fact that not only did he change his music, which he made very, very clear, not only in the music but also in the lyrics, but he also like changed the way he wrote his songs, and he changed the way he went about the album. So instead of
Can we just
Lonerism,
flat out say this is a badly written album?
yes, it's really
Okay, the
poorly
lyrics
written.
on this album are terrible,
All right, but
terrible.
we gotta slow build. You know, we gotta be very thoughtful
Okay.
about this.
Can we give some song, can we give some examples of this?
Yes.
Okay,
Let's
so
start with Yes, I'm Changing.
okay. Do we want to start with some change? We already kind of went with that. It's like that's.
Well, let's just go on Jesus real fast.
But it's bullshit.
They do.
Okay, the album is just like.
Can you guys stop giving him that voice?
Yikes.
Okay, that's another problem with the
Sorry.
album is that he has this stupid little
Whenever-
like nasally falsetto
whenever
throughout the entire
Matty
album, and
sings,
it's so annoying.
Like Kevin Parker, he just sings in this really awful voice.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I can't sing.
People say it never
Okay, but like, okay.
change.
I
But
don't
yes, I'm
want to
changing.
keep...
Is like it's like a douchebag explorer breaking up with his girlfriend. It's just it's like I'm moving on. Life's moves and
Well,
moving.
that's
It's
not
like
even that's not even like I don't even have a problem with like the persona he cultivates, because I think we actually did. Actually, we should talk about this.
because we were discussing the other day. Like we were coming to
He's definitely going for very shallow, like in the production. The production, while it is exquisite, it's also very on the surface, and so are the lyrics, and so is everything, and so is like his character that he makes, because he's trying to make a really shallow and like douchey boyfriend. Like that's what he's trying to be, or at least like that's what he's projecting himself as on this album. And I think that is intentional, but where the lyrics fall flat for me isn't like what they're about. It's like, it's actually really interesting. Like, wow, I've never heard someone like be like take on that character, because those people exist.
The issue is it a character or not?
No, that's not even that. It's not even that. I don't even care if Kevin Parker is like this in real life. What I care about is lines like, "It was raging, it was late. In the world my demons cultivate. I felt the strangest emotion, but it wasn't hate." Like, That
Just
is just
really weak rhymes.
corny. Just the lyrics are just so corny and bad. And I just like, and before on Motorism, like he didn't really. The lyrics were like either like it was a hook that he repeated, and there wasn't a lot of them, or on some songs like I don't know, they were just like nice. They weren't like the main focus. But with this album, it felt like he was trying to make the lyrics the main focus. And when he did that, when he decided
It exposed his poor songwriting abilities.
yeah, and it's like if you just ignore the lyrics, if you don't speak English, this album is beautiful. This album is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It sounds so nice and it's so catchy. You just dance.
It sounds
But
better.
like
It's better in the background.
the second I start paying attention, yeah, oh definitely. But the second I start paying attention to the lyrics, it makes me I just like can't. It's just like hard for me. But it shouldn't be a problem. I can ignore the lyrics. Except this is when Past Life comes into play. Now, people are like, "Why do you hate Past Life so much? It's a pretty cool song. It goes between spoken word and
Oh
this really
God!
catchy hook."
Because
But
that's
here's
the
the
issue.
reason.
Because
Here's the reason. Actually, hold on, wait. Here's the reason why I hate Past Life. Because when I'm listening to the album and I talk to you about how it's like, I think it's a great pop album, right? And all the songs, like it's like poppy. It's like yeah, it's like grooving, and then Past Life starts. And
It
it's
tries to
like
continue the
this
narrative, but you don't really care about the narrative.
but it forces you into the narrative, and I was listening to the album yesterday actually, and I was like, and this was like what I was going through. I was like, this is so much fun. I'm really enjoying this album. Like, wow. And then Past Life started, and I listened to it, and it like first of all, Past Life, just the way the spoken word does, like for like the first 2 minutes,
Sounds like they
it
fuck.
completely kills the vibe. It completely kills the rhythm that the album had. But what makes it so like is that he forces you like you can just not be paying attention, but then Past Life is so different that it forces you to pay attention. And I was like, oh right, he's beating me over the head with this really dumb like story, and now I have to get into it. And then I think I like, and it's just like, oh god, dude.
And Past Life exposes a problem with the album with the changing, because he keeps claiming he's changing as a person, but that just does not seem to be the case at all.
Even
Maybe
then,
until the
I don't,
outro.
I don't even care about that. I just don't like he just doesn't write. It's just not like well written. It's a very compelling, it's a very interesting like character that he takes on, or at least like how he projects himself. And I think it's really, really fascinating how he projects himself with the music and with himself as this really shallow individual who is just like a shitty guy and is like, I'm changing. Just kidding, I'm not. And eventually he says like, eventually I'll be happier and you will too, because he's like self-centered.
Okay, I wanted to discuss that, because like because like we were talking about like, yes, I'm changing, it's like bad lyrics, but like eventually that's one of the most shallow songs on the album.
Yeah,
it's like because he has to mention him. It's like the thing is, he's breaking up with his girlfriend, and it's just like, and the thing is, he tells her, instead of being like, you know what, I'm sorry this doesn't work out, instead of like consoling her, he's like, you'll get over it eventually. It's like, but no, I will get over it eventually, and then you will too. It's like, that's such a fucking douchebag move.
I know, and that's the idea, and I think that's really interesting, and I'm really glad that he took that risk on that. And I think it's just a really cool thing that he did. And it's like, wow, I haven't heard anybody really talk about that. Come on. How often are you going to hear an artist be like, yep, I'm that.
Okay, the issue with that, Jeremiah, is that like, I want to enjoy this album. I want to enjoy the music. And this keeps me from, it's like, cool, it's an interesting character study. I don't care, because it's like, because I don't know what he's like trying to do. It's like, is he trying to be relatable? Is he playing a character? I have no idea what he's trying to do on this album.
I mean, I do think that the shallowness, I mean, it is like something he does. It's definitely intentional with the music. I think we did determine that there's a lot of gloss on the surface, but I do think this is intentional. Like, there's a lot of gloss on the surface, but there's not very much underneath. And I do think that is intentional. I do think that's supposed to reflect like him in a way, but I just don't know if that little narrative that he creates is like, and like that thing that he strives for, especially with the lyrics, is enough to justify how corny and bad the lyrics are at times, and just how just like miserable Past Life is as a song. And I really just wish he just made a pop album. I really just wish he made a pop album, because we already knew that he was an exceptional.
I just wish he was more like
Lonerism, he said he set out to make a bunch of cheesy pop songs. And in 2012, when I was like under the impression, or when that album came out and I was reading about it on Wikipedia, I was under the impression that pop was like, I didn't really know what pop was, and so I was like, oh, that's funny. This is a pop album. This isn't a pop album. That's weird. But like, it really is. There's so many cats like feels like I only go backwards. Like, oh my gosh, it's just so nice, right? And I think Currents, some of the songs like Let It Happen, like eventually is really catchy. The Moment is it's just a beautiful, gorgeous pop song.
I don't like The Moment.
I love The Moment.
I don't like The Moment because it sounds like a Tears for Fears. It steals its synth line straight from
it sounds
Tears for Fears song.
more like Gwen Stefani's The Sweet Escape to me.
It's a bit of both of The Sweet Escape and then
Anyways,
Everybody Wants to Roll
really
the World.
matter, you know. I like it when songs remind me of other songs sometimes. But just there's so many great pop songs, but I think that the narrative that he creates, which isn't a particularly strong narrative, it's an interesting narrative. It's a narrative that we haven't really heard before. And it is compelling, but I just don't think that with his songwriting skills, or at least the songwriting skills he demonstrates on this album, I don't think it's executed very well. And I think that it does drag down the album. Whereas if he had focused more on pop songs, if he had fleshed out Nangs, if he had fleshed out Disciples, if he had fleshed out Disciples and stuff like that, and cut out maybe Past Life, and just kind of like and stopped beating us over the head with this "I'm changing, but I'm actually not changing" narrative. Like, I think the album would be better. I do think so. That's really my main conclusion. That's what I think. I think this album, from a completely pop perspective, is gorgeous. It is great. It is catchy. It is fun. I can put it on. I can dance. I can vibe, and I can do stuff. You know, it's just a great feel good album. But once you go under the surface, once you break the surface, which is very easy to do because he makes it like he kind of forces you to break the surface with songs like Past Life and songs like Yes, I'm Changing. He makes you do that, and then once you do that, once you go under the surface,
it's not the same.
It just drags it down. It just drags it down, and I just wish, and it's just so weird because normally I'm like all about that like added layer of complexity. But in this album, in this case, I just don't feel like it's executed.
Doesn't do you any good. It makes things
yeah.
worse.
In this case, it just wasn't executed well, and I do think that it brings down the album, which I hate to say because I was really excited for this album to be great. But aside from, I mean, there's some songs that I'm obviously going to be like having on repeat, like freaking The Moment is just the jam, right? But they're just like the narrative. I just think was unnecessary, and I do think it brings down the album. And that's the sad truth of it, I think.
I wish he didn't release like 6 singles.
It was 4 singles, and he stopped after like a couple months. Like he released a bunch of quick succession, then stopped, like 2 months before the album came out.
I feel like he should have done 2.
Yeah,
I feel like Yes, I'm Changing, and then eventually, and then I feel like Let It Happen shouldn't have been a single.
I mean, wasn't it originally not even supposed to be on the album? Because I heard that whenever it came out, I was like, oh yeah, this is not supposed to be on the album, and then it was, and that was weird. Okay, I just want to say, okay, we have not talked about the song yet. I hate, because I'm a man, I hated it when it came out, and I hate it even worse now. Now that I had to really focus on this album. I hate his stupid voice. I don't like the production. And it's just, and then the songwriting is not good. Because it's just sort of like, I guess, it's like he can't really own up to his mistakes. And it's just because, like, I'm a man, okay? It's because I'm a man. That's why I can't own up to my mistakes and whatnot.
Because I'm a man, woman.
It's just so annoying.
That's a really cringeworthy line.
It's so annoying,
but,
and it has a good sentiment, like of not being able to like defend yourself and just sort of like not finding reasoning for your actions. But at the same time, though, it just shows like such immaturity in your songwriting, and it's just sort of like I am immature. I'm 18, but like I like okay. The thing is, when I was very surprised to find out that Currents was a breakup album. Whenever, like, I think Will told me, was like, yeah, it's a breakup album. And I was like, wait, what? Because I didn't realize that. Just from those listens, because, like, you can barely understand what he's saying at first. And, like, even then I wasn't really enjoying the music. It's just sort of like, okay, this is just...
Well, how much... Did you like Lonerism before? How much had you given...
Okay, I didn't give... Okay, I will admit, I was not a big Tame Impala fan going into this album.
Okay.
So I'm a little biased.
That is one thing that we should, because you were talking about how you hate his stupid voice and like you hate like the sound, and I was like, wait a minute. But I listen to
Lonerism. I think his voice is fine on Lonerism. I think Lonerism is a good album, not great, but a good album. It's enjoyable. It's not offensive. It's enjoyable. Like I don't mind listening to Lonerism, but like it's not on my I feel like I have to listen to Lonerism right now.
Lonerism is pretty freaking great though. Gotta be. I remember when I'm gonna share a little anecdote because I got it for Christmas 2012, and so I was walking my dog, and I put all the Christmas 2012 albums I had on shuffle, and so the first song I heard from it was "She Just Won't Believe Me," which is the 40-second long one, and I legitimately thought it was a John Lennon sample, and I was really confused.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, I think like his vocals are fine on "Cause I'm a Man," but I just really don't like the "Cause I'm a Man." Just the woman.
It's just so slow and just fine. Oh god, I just hate it.
It's kind of there's a lot of reverb. It's kind of chill, but you're right. I do think
boring.
I do think his falsetto is not the best on this song.
But the problem is that his falsetto is that it's on every single song. He has the same whiny, nasally falsetto on almost every single song.
The chorus
on "Cause I'm a Man" it's just amplified, and then like on other songs like it's fine because like it's only one song. What happened? It's fine on there because it's one song. Nang's it's fine, but like as the album progresses,
yeah, right. Because I'm a Man is really like
fluctuating.
That slow burner where he goes all out and it's like I'm emotional, but at the same time, like really, his lyrics are corny. His lyrics are cheesy. The idea is cheesy. It's not even like well executed.
It takes itself too seriously.
Because I'm a man, woman is one of those. It's like one of those lines where he probably was like super stoned when he thought of it. He was like, "Oh, this is genius," and so then he like sang it and didn't really look back.
I think that really is one of the problems with this album is that it takes itself way too seriously.
Oh, definitely. Oh,
it takes itself a little too seriously. It doesn't. It doesn't have fun because the production should be fun and like there are certain songs that have fun. Like I love "The Less I Know, the Better." It's so much fun to listen to that song. What Happened is so much fun. Nang's is so much fun, and New Person, Same Old Mistakes is.
But he just kind of. But you're right. He just kind of like he took this narrative and like he just took the narrative just became too much. The narrative became.
It's not a well-written narrative. It's not like okay, I can't be sympathetic to this.
Well, it's not
this character.
You're right. It's not a narrative, but it's the idea, the theme. Like, I'm calling it a narrative because that's the easiest way to call it.
Yeah.
The easiest way to describe it is this like character in this narrative, and the narrative became, I think, too much. I think he focused on the narrative.
It's badly written and it's too prominent.
Yes.
And that's the issue. It's like, okay, if this was just kind of in the background, like, okay, whatever. Like, you don't need to know about the narrative, but like, he's like, no, I want you to know about my breakup.
Yeah,
and it's
but
like,
it's like
you Kevin,
it's like,
no, Kevin, you look like a douchebag.
Well, no, even then, I don't really care that. I'm glad that he makes himself look like a douchebag.
Okay,
I think that's
interesting. Okay, Jeremiah,
but what
I get that, and that's an interesting thing about the album is that like, it's a character study of him being a douchebag, but at the same time, though, it's like, I don't really find that enjoyable. And like, and the thing is, to give an example of a character that is very sort of, I love Wonikura. It's a great album, but goddamn, is it one-sided? And goddamn, when you really look into that, like to real details, you go, oh wow, Björk, she's kind of a
Björk.
Björk is how you pronounce her name. Okay, it's pronounced like jerk. It's like that. It has like an irk in it. Okay, Björk. Okay, but the thing is. But her vocals are so powerful and her lyrics are so well written that you really sympathize with her. And despite, some of the things we've heard, the crazy things, it's still sort of like a very beautiful album that it feels genuine. It feels real. Currents, again, and he kind of addresses this on New Person, Same Old Mistakes, where it's like, hold on, let me find the lyric real quick. It's something about like being fake and like, sorry, I should have had this open. Let me Control F fake. Come on, god damn it! I'm sorry, this is very unprofessional.
Well, so your problem seems to be...
It's like finally taking flight. I know you don't think it's right. I know that you think it's fake. Maybe fake's what I like, and it's just sort of like, okay, that's cool, Kevin, but like, that doesn't make me like the album that much. It's not genuine. It doesn't feel. I don't feel anything from this album. I feel just sort of a fit. If I feel anything, it's negative feelings towards this album. There's not many, like, there's not that many positive feelings.
Guys, remember when I thought Currents was 2 hours long?
Oh, yeah. Why? Where did you get that impression that it was 2 hours long?
don't know. Someone on the sub said that, I think, and then I just like had that in my mind, and I was like, all right, 2 hours. That's a lot of
That is one thing.
ambition.
That is one thing. It shouldn't be as long as it is.
Yeah, because but before the intro, like reality, emotion, and love and paranoia, those are obviously filler. Like it is flat out filler.
Well, I don't
Those
know.
two tracks are.
I just think he could have. I think I don't know. See, your problem seems to be with his character more so. My problem is with the execution of the character.
I would agree that the
Because you
execution of the
seem to be
character.
really like I just really dislike this douchey dude that he comes off as, and which is it's fair. You're not supposed to like that, and I think that is like the intention. You're not supposed to like this character because it is like an unlikable character, and it's like very off-putting, and it's like, and I actually really do admire that he like put this foot forward for us
Okay,
to look
but
at.
the thing is that we've repeated
But
over and over.
it's he does beat us over the head with
It's
it.
It's not well
He's
written.
like,
It's like the thing is
it's not well written. It's corny. It's just like, look at me, guys. Like the freak is every time I come back to this lyric.
Please let
But
me
I think
speak.
this lyric
Oh,
is
God,
the
you're
like is the epitome of the album. Is the they say people don't change. That's bullshit. They do. Like
Okay.
that line right there is like the album summed up, and that's like my problems with the album is that line
Okay.
because that's one of the corniest lines, and that's the line that like that's where it's like, yep, you're being us, yep, you're changing, we got it, you're a douche, we got it, yep, and we just don't need to hear it, and I just wish I could just listen to nice pop music that I know you've so much like in you because some of your hooks are just insane. I just want to hear all of those and just have a nice like 40-minute like synthy, just like woo. That's like all I want from you, Kevin Parker.
Okay. I was trying to make this point. Okay. The idea that we're into the inside of a douchebag is very interesting, and it can work. I mean, again, you can make a
Yeah, I
case of
guess
Onikura
dark
is
fantasy.
basically like from
Dark
written from the perspective of
fantasies
a
are
very
good.
somewhat of a kind of.
Saboteur the douchebag.
It's not. I won't say Onikura.
Assholes.
Okay, Jeremiah, let me fucking speak. God damn it.
Hey, I was giving you another album.
I know.
I was
I'm
saying
trying to explain
dark
my
fantasies
point,
like that.
and like I'm trying to explain my point. I'm trying to articulate my point about Bonikura, where she plays somewhat of a character that's very kind of complex. Her character is very complex, where like you don't know whether to like support her or go against her, but you know how she's feeling and you sympathize with those feelings. The problem with this album, and we said it a couple times already, is that it's not well written. That he could make an album like this work, but like he doesn't make this character interesting. It's like it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I agree.
But he doesn't make the character interesting. It's just sort of like this is just a douchebag that
I agree with you.
I don't care. And the thing is, I should like this album because it's a breakup album, and like some of the things he talks about in this album, I can relate to because that's sort of like something that happened with my breakup. But like at the same time, though, it's like maybe it's sort of a personal thing where it like exposes my flaws as a person, where it's kind of like maybe a little too real for me, and that's why I don't. It's like
Hey,
sort of
maybe you should be more embracing of it. I don't know, but I actually no. I think we are on the same page. I just think we're confused about it. I just think it's I agree with you. I mean, I don't really have a problem with his character because I think that is a really interesting it's really interesting, but I just think he didn't execute it well at all. And I think it brings down the album. Whereas if he had executed it well, like say for example Dark Fantasy, then it really would elevate the album. But in this case, it's like it just comes off as whiny and it's just poorly written, and it just kind of disrupts the vibe of an otherwise fun pop album. Which, let's talk about the music here for a second.
Yeah, I think we focused on the lyrics a bit too much. Let's talk about
is a really great pop album. Like the sound, like the when Let It Happen starts a little. Hold on, let me.
Okay, if this production was on a flat-out pop album, where it's just like, okay, this is pop, this isn't like pop rock, this isn't indie pop,
like,
this is flat-out pop music,
well, no,
I would love this album. I would love it.
No,
but
I'm just saying.
But the thing is, it doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't have a clear identity, I guess.
Well, I don't really care about that. I'm just talking about how the production right now, and like the sound of it, and the synth music make this really fun psychedelic pop. Okay. And I really appreciate it. I really dig it. Especially the first 7 songs, like musically, are just they just flow and they just feel good and
sometimes
they're just nice.
Can I explain? Okay, it's a well produced album. It's a very well produced album, and considering that Kevin Parker did all this by himself, that's very very impressive. But I guess sometimes just some of the melodies don't really like. I don't like some of the melodies. I don't like some of the synthesizers he used. I don't like some of the instruments he used. Sometimes there's some great produced songs that I really love, but sometimes there's little tiny things in the production that I'm like, I don't enjoy this. Or sometimes it feels like just quickly put together, like, you know, the 2 tracks before, you know, the same. Well, fuck, I don't even. New person, same old
Reality in
mistakes.
Motion and Love Paranoia.
Those just seem like really like quickly put together songs in my opinion. Like I'll just you know put these together real quickly because I need to fill more space in this album.
Actually, I disagree. But Arthi, speak. Arthi.
Okay.
I said before because they're just kind of like there. Like they don't really fit in the narrative that much in my opinion, and it's just sort of boring. It's like, okay, they're there. I don't know.
The reason I haven't listened to this album that much is that I actually don't dig the sound that much.
And I would agree. I just don't like. I mean, I've listened to them a bunch, and I'm just sort of like, I've listened over and over again. It's just like, okay, the production, it's still not like really, really catching me. It's like there's only so many listens I can give this album before it clicks, and like I've listened to this album at least like 15 or 16 times already, and the production hasn't completely clicked with me. There's songs that
you've listened to it 15 times.
Hold on. Let me get an official. I've listened to it a bunch. I know that. Hold on.
That's insane. It came out like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
okay.
it's like yeah. I think no, it's like 10 or 11.
Anyways, I actually don't dig the sound that much of like the album. Like, I like psych pop, but I feel like I kind of disagree with Jeremiah. That's why I haven't listened to it more, because I feel like what Jeremiah said about it sounding modern, I don't really agree with that. I feel like and like I'm sorry to compare it to Lonerism again, but I keep
That's
like
okay. It's the other album it's to compare it to because Lonerism is like a modern classic, so
yeah.
Good benchmark.
So like I feel like the difference is that Lonerism is like a tribute to the 60s, but it still sounds modern. But then like with this album, it's like a tribute to 80s like synth pop, but it just sounds like something like from the 80s. And I just don't, I guess I don't like that. Like, I like Let It Happen a lot, and I like Nangs, but, like, the problem I have, like, one thing that I've been really petty about when I've been listening to this album is that one instrument. I talked about this so many times.
Do
you
bell,
know what
right?
I'm talking about? The one, like, the bells that sound like they're from, like, a 90s like educational video. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. I think like they're called new age bells.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, another problem.
But like that instrument just seems so dated.
Mm-hmm. I guess another issue of the production. Maybe it's just sort of an issue with Kevin Parker doing like everything on the album, where it just sort of comes off as like I feel like this album would have benefited if it had different musicians on the album, it's not just Kevin Parker. Like one of the biggest problems I have with Tame Impala, and it's kind of a problem and a positive. It depends on each song. Lonerism, the drums are good, but like sometimes they're a little too prominent at times, and they should be more in the foreground. Same goes for Currents, where like I feel like this album could have really benefited from like a better drummer, because Kevin Parker's
a fine drummer.
He's a fine drummer, but like he could really use a better drummer.
I don't notice that, especially on Lonerism. I think Lonerism's a pretty.
I mean, Lonerism has some great drums, like stuff like Feels Like Only Has Backwards has great drums. Feels good. It but like on this album, it just sort of at times where like it's just the drum beats are maybe a little too simplistic, and sometimes it's just sort of like would have came in and maybe someone added a bit more flair with the drums. I don't know, but like the synthesizers are fine. I think Will. I'm gonna speak on Will for this, but like Will probably would mention that the bass is great on this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, their bass is always great.
The guitar, again, Kevin Parker is a fine guitarist. He's a fine bass player. Okay drum player. Synthesizers are also kind of cool. Sometimes I think he uses like some synthesizers, but overall the album is well produced, but it doesn't really appeal to me, I
Wait,
guess.
did he play all the instruments?
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
everything
yes.
else is him.
It's just Kevin Parker.
What?
I think this is like the first Tame Impala album where it's like
No,
completely
no, no.
Tame Impala.
Lonerism was like that too.
I think no, I think
It's
Lonerism had
just
some
Kevin
help from some
Parker.
people, but like barely any.
He has a
Someone else
band.
fixed it.
Yeah,
Someone
Are
else
you
fixed
sure?
yeah, no,
it.
he has a
the
touring
band,
band, Arthi. He has a
literally
touring
just toured
band.
with him.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
I
crazy.
actually thought War and Drugs was like that too for a while because I assumed it was like Tame Impala, but I was actually really glad to learn that it actually is a band behind Enim Granduciel. But yeah, I don't know.
What?
I really like the production. I really like the sound he captures. It's really candy coated and glossy and tasty, and I do appreciate that. And I think that some of his pop hooks are excellent. I think some of the pop riffs and melodies are excellent. But I do think this album is weighed down by the just boring and just overwrought and over the top narrative that he just can't help but beat into you every single song. So that's my like final verdict of it. I'm gonna like some of the songs. I mean I really like the first half in terms of music. Past Life kind of kills the vibe, so I might just delete it. But I don't know. Like Let It Happen is really fun, and I really like it. And I just like wish he made more songs like that and less songs like Past Life. That's my, and because I'm a man, and that's my professional analysis.
Okay, final verdict. This album is good in certain ways and it's bad in other ways. It's way too inconsistent in my opinion. Like there's songs here that are great, but like the songs, most of the songs are just not well written. The narrative is terrible
Yep,
and boring. The
he
production, while
makes the
good, is
lyric.
not that appealing to me.
That's
And
fair.
if I had to give this album a head rating, I give it like a really quick like no, like
I give this album a very sad and reluctant head shake.
It's a shrug. I think you give this album like a
No,
positive shrug.
I give this because I really love Lonerism and Inner Speaker, and I
So you like
guess
some out of just like guilt? Like it's Game Impala.
no, it's no, I don't like. I mean, I don't really like. I gave it a shake of my head, which is like not. It's a head shake side to side, not a nod. That's
I
I.
give this one, for me personally, it's a head bobbing to Let It Happen and Nangs and not really listening to the rest of it.
That's good. I don't know. I
I'm
just think
sorry,
because
guys.
he's just not a good lyricist, or he's not a, or he's not. Sorry, he's not one of the better lyricists in indie. He has his moments, but this album, he focused way too much. He tried way too hard to make like lyrics that were like whoa, and
Yeah, and like
it
that's
just was not
that's
good.
good because he's like trying. But also
But it's
like
also poor
that's just like
lyrics.
something
Will never change, but that's bullshit.
They do,
Do
and
I
that's how
think
we have the podcast.
what I love
Sorry,
about
go ahead, Arthi.
lunarism, I can't hear anyone.
well,
Arthi,
because we're
go.
not
It's not
talking.
Okay. Because my headphones are broken. But anyways, what I love about lunarism, like I'm sorry I keep mentioning it, but that's a perfect album to me. And I think that it's just that like he doesn't really focus on his lyrics that much and he has just
Yeah,
has this like awesome instrumentation and these
it's
like
about the
cool
vibe.
tunes and like this great vibe. And I guess
Yeah,
with Currents for me, the reason I haven't listened to it that much is because he like didn't
He's not
really
focusing on the vibe as much. He's trying to get into other
yes.
things, and it's just proving his
yeah,
weaknesses. Where
like
he
that's
needs time.
good
He
because
needs time to improve.
he's like trying to do something else, which is good. But then also like it's just something I don't like and that's really unfortunate because like I think he should keep doing new things. I don't think he should keep focusing on his vibe because eventually then it'll
And
be like you made another album that sounds like like super chill.
and I'm all for artistic progression, and I agree with that, Arthi. But like that's not my problem with the album. It's not that he's. It's just it's not like oh my god, I changed it up from Loners. It's just sort of like I just don't like this album because it's poorly written. The production doesn't really appeal to me that much, and it's just sort of like okay, it's an album. It's It's great. It's great elevator music with like a bit of an edge to it.
So you're saying it's
Because if I heard the album,
vaporwave.
I'd be like, okay, it's kind of cool. If I heard any of these songs on the radio, I'd be like, this is a pretty fucking great song. But like we're supposed to take, I guess it's because Tame Impala has kind of gotten a reputation from the subreddit and just in general, Pitchfork and all
And
those
from
places.
Indie Dome.
From the indie spear, and it's just like, it's like I just don't get it. I just do not get it. Like I don't know. But yeah, I think. Is anyone like anyone? I guess we already kind of gave our final.
I'll just give my final thought one more time. I think this is a really well produced album. I think it's really pretty. I think it's really
I'm gonna give my
nice.
final thoughts on the album too at the same time. Jeremy, just keep
No.
going. We'll just do it at the same time.
No, let's not do that.
Okay, never
Because
mind.
you're gonna try and talk over me, and then I'm gonna try and talk over you. And I think it's really tasty, and I really want to eat like the moment. I really want to eat the moment.
I
Like
don't
it sounds
candy,
really
so I don't eat
dumb,
it.
but it just sounds like it just sounds delicious, right? But
I
then
don't like
like
the
I
moment, so
hear
I can't do it.
Past Life, and then Past Life kind of like forces me to go under the surface. I don't really want to go under the surface. Past like it's like yeah, I was walking past the grocery store where I saw somebody.
You sound like fucking Goofy.
Yeah, but that's what he sounds like.
No, he sounds like Dave Fuck. He sounds like Dave Fuck from that Mac DeMarco.
Either way, he
skit.
sounds awful. He sounds really stupid, and
Okay,
it just
hold on.
forces.
I made a
It just
joke.
breaks the pop immersion. It breaks the pop little like high that I was on, and I was enjoying myself on, and then it just forces me to pay attention to this just poorly written album about a subject which could have been compelling, which could have been really cool, which was pretty unique. I mean, it could have been interesting if he had just
Not been a terrible writer.
not been a bad songwriter.
You know,
because,
you know what the sound mix it exposed a great conspiracy about Kevin Parker. Okay, I've been saving this for the past like almost 2 hours. Okay, Kevin Parker enjoys the movie Baby Geniuses. You want to know why? Okay,
Why?
when I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was Baby Geniuses. Now I realize that it's a terrible film. It's awful. It sucks. Bob Clark ends up being a hack fraud. Anyways, on the album or on the soundtrack of the album, there is the song "Staying Alive" by Bee Gees, and that was one of the songs that helped Kevin Parker inspire the album. Except he was on a bunch of drugs and whatnot. And also on the soundtrack, the last song for like the before the credits, there's a song here that like sounds just like almost just like Past Life, except instead of like a falsetto, the guy has like more of a baritone. It's like a baritone version of like Past Life, and like whenever like Kevin Parker is like singing on Past Life, it's like in a past life. It's like the same sort of melody. It's like, oh my god, Kevin Parker is a fan of the movie Baby Geniuses. He has terrible movie taste.
I like how you were like, this is a conspiracy theory, guys.
It is a
Listen in,
conspiracy.
everyone.
It is a conspiracy
And you
theory
like
that he likes
put
to
on
read
your
Baby
just
Geniuses.
tinfoil
just
hat,
wasn't a
and you were
conspiracy
like,
theory
you
at
like
all.
some baby geniuses. All right,
We
before
should
we
end the
go, I
podcast.
just want to say, if anyone knows what I'm talking about when I say new agey bells that sound like a 90s educational video, please like let me know, because I really want someone to understand what I'm talking about and like tell me how they feel about that, because I can't get over it.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. I'm sorry that I hate currents. I know we get a lot of hate in the comments, and I'm willing to discuss why I dislike the sound in the comments of our Reddit post and YouTube. iTunes doesn't have comments.
Definitely a very fierce dislike. If I were to give your dislike a rating,
Yeah.
Be
But
very,
please,
very
I'm
fierce.
willing to discuss this. So please, discuss this album with me. I want to discuss it with other people. I do. I really want to talk this album with other people and see what they think.
okay.
It sounded
Well, you
like we'll
talked
get
about it
on
with
this podcast.
me.
Because he really
That's
wanted
good.
to. Because he's the only one here who like really enjoys the album.
Oh, that's true. He wasn't here to defend it. I feel kind of bad.
Yeah,
It's like how
but-
me and Sarah weren't here for In Color.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, all me and Sarah would have said is just like it makes us feel some type of way, and you guys would be like, "No, it's wrong." I'm like, wow. Anyways,
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
the
anyways,
moral of
hope
the
you guys.
story, verdict.
I really give
Currents
my verdict was
sounds
like
good.
That was my verdict.
Current sounds good, but is not written well. All right, have a good one, guys.
See ya. Bye.
Good talk.